So we'll start by looking into different lens of an individual where each of these personas that you have been added in the lab guide have their different set of roles and responsibilities that has been add, set up in the application. We will start by logging into the application as an AI steward. By the very nature of its definition, this persona is responsible for overall facilitation and get a glimpse on where each of those AI has been successfully either deployed or in the process of deployment. This is a bird's eye perspective of what is happening overall from an application or from an enterprise standpoint. Next, we will also switch the view from an AI product owner as well as one of the governance team member, which is the risk and compliance practitioner as well. So I'm now going to switch to the application where I will start by impersonating as the AI steward. So what I've started off right now is by impersonating as an AI steward. Now, as you can notice, the first and foremost thing is an exclusive AI Control Tower workspace where you get to see all the matters or the things that requires your immediate attention. And that's the first widget that has been laid out. This gives you a glimpse on overall AI assets that has been currently reported and are in the process of evaluation from pre-deployment phase to deployment and how continuously being monitored. You can click each of these respective widgets to go into the level of details. Now, as we scroll to the bottom, this has been organized into different tabs. In a way, each of the information has been structured, which will help you to perform data-informed decision-making process. We'll go into the level of details in a moment. Starting with the overview, this is an overall view of every information that has been collected till date, starting from an overall lifecycle journey of how an AI asset has been progressed from an AI asset lifecycle. We look into how many of them have been successfully newly added, which are in the process of evaluation, build and test, and of course, deployed in a way. As we move ahead into the journey of each of these dashboards, you can see from different segregation of those AI systems by type, by the nature of those risk classifications, how many are deemed high, medium, and low, by the provider, whether these are sourced internally or externally as well. These are the segmentations that has been laid out. From a trend perspective, we also present you some of those insights that has been collected overall from an added versus deployed perspective. Each of these are toggle actions wherein you can actually get to the level of details that has been presented. From a compliance perspective, we are not looking into just only the risk alone, but even from a compliance posture. Each of these AI regulations, how they have been compliant from a compliance status, are the controls designed effectively or non-compliant? You can find out what are the current status of each of those in depth. Looking into the aspect of internal policies, you can switch the toggle to view the compliance posture by policies as well. On the overall AI cases, what are those deepfake incidents or any specific inquiries that has been raised? You can review those information and slice and dice by the nature of priority. And as we move ahead, from an overall health and adoption perspective, you get to see the productive and the overall number of users that has been using the AI system. And last but not least, which are those top number of AI systems by value and by the breakdown in terms of hours? We are able to accumulate that. Next, we switch on to the AI strategy. This is an exclusive landing page where you get into the details on what those corporate initiatives has been set by the leadership. These AI specific initiatives goals can be measured in a way where you can actually track them overall from a various persona standpoint. These are various some of those reporting insights where you can keep a track on how fairly have they been progressing from a goals and the measurable outcome. What are the targets? Have those been closely achieved or not? And as we scroll to the bottom, you will also measure the overall cost adoption, or in other words, what is the planned versus the overall budgeted cost for each of these AI assets that is being continuously deployed or in the process of evaluation, right? From a work standpoint, we also get to see a glimpse on what are the outstanding items which are due for response completion. These AI projects that are deemed requiring attention from various members, you can get into the level of details to start working on them. With comprehensive search filters where you can slice and dice by the department or even by criticality or by ranking. Lastly, but not the least, with respect to the overall project, AI projects that has been evaluated, we also look into those project specific risks, issues, what are the actions that has been applied into consideration. We represent that into a heat map which tailors what are the overall risk by the nature of impact and probability. We'll move on to the AI asset inventory, which in a few minutes ago, Sampata has briefly touched upon. What are those different AI asset classes that has been organized? We give you a representation of each of those AI assets by provider, by type, and of course by the status. And also, not to mention, by departments who owns and who are responsible for managing each of those AI assets that has been reported till date. From an overall value and adoption perspective, we are able to generate various insights from a usage and overall productivity standpoint. These insights are accumulated over a periodic time so that you get to see what are the overall most frequently used and accessed AI systems till date, what is it overall from a trend perspective, by value, and much more. The whole objective over here is to understand how the AI asset has been fairly being performing overall from an usage, adoption, and productivity standpoint. And these are some of those reporting insights that has been presented that gives you better informed decision purpose. Next, with specific to the risk and compliance aspect, where as we have noticed within the overview, we get to see all this compliance posture insight. In addition, we are also able to generate the risk posture insight, which are those A assets that has been performed over within a risk lens, how it has been rated and overall ranked by the nature of the regulated risk, be it from unacceptable to high, and of course, what are the level of risk that has been aggregated till date. These have been accumulated overall based on the various risk assessments that has been conducted and analyzed by the various individuals or the product owners till date. We also present you the compliance posture insights by the regulations and policies. These are some of the similar reports and dashboards that we have presented in the overview dashboard. Specifically to various regulations that has been tailored for your business needs, you're also able to drill down and signify and identify what are those outstanding issues. If there are any cases that require my immediate attention, you can click down and drill down to see what are the actions that is deemed applicable. Risk overview perspective, also we collect the aggregated risk scores. So you might build up various AI assets, and each of these risks that is being collectively aggregated, we present you an accumulative view or an enterprise view for the AI stewards to figure out each of these AI systems overall how are they being performed. We provide you these presentation reports where you can drill down by the nature of those inherent as well as by residual. The same applies within the heat map to give you those risk hotspots that requires your immediate attention. You can also slice and dice by the nature of each of those AI asset classes as well. So if you switch the focus from AI systems to AI models, you will be able to present all this information that has been collected till date. Next, on the security and privacy, we also deep dive specifically on the ServiceNow AI capabilities, such as what are those access issues that has been red flagged and which are those dormant AI systems or privileged AI agents. These are continuously being monitored in a way so that you get to keep a track on what is happening overall from an AI aspect perspective. From here on, you can perform various decision steps around what are the actions that need to be validated so that you can remediate these access issues and much more. Last but not the least is the AI cases. So in the topic around continuous monitoring, once it has been successfully deployed, or if you have wish to report some kind of an incident, this is the placeholder wherein you can report and file them. These AI cases require brief level of investigation and action plan, which needs to be remediated on a timely basis. However, if there are any inquiries very specific to general artificial intelligence or any assistance that require from various stakeholders, you can use the inquiries option wherein you can report it. This is a non-investigative lifecycle in a way which helps the business users to closely monitor and track them to closure. Now I'm going to switch the view from the AI steward to the next persona, which is the product owner, sorry, the risk and compliance practitioner. Again, as you can notice, these are some of the similar representative charts that has been laid out, which gives you from a compliance perspective as well as from the risk overall posture insight. In addition to this, with the inclusion of regulatory change management application, you can also keep yourselves up to date on the latest AI trends, various niche into the AI regulations that is happening across the globe. Just to call out, this is part of the IRM Pro edition where you can actually install this application to monitor some of those AI regulatory updates and keep a track on those various aspects. And in a moment, we'll go into the deep dive on what are those activities involved in the system. Last but not the least, from a product owner perspective, we are also get to give you a glimpse on each of those AI assets that has been reported till date by the nature of lifecycle status as well as by state. If there are any outstanding tasks and cases, we also represent them in a list view so that quickly you can navigate and take them to appropriate closure. Now, what we have seen till date are some of these exclusive workspaces landing page designed for the different personas who can actually start their journey from an overall AI control tower implementation standpoint.